Hello, friends. Welcome to Akul Mac Live, and I am Chandrakant. And you know that the Earth, which is our Mother Earth, requires refurbishment many times. And for encouraging people, citizens like us, the global citizens, there has been an award which is running, and it is being run from UK. It's a worldwide award. It's called Global Short Prizes. And to talk more about this, let me invite our distinguished guest, Mr. Neville Gaunt, who is joining from UK today, and he is the CEO of MindFit Ltd. So let's welcome him. Good morning, Neville. How are you doing today?
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing really well. And after a night of entertainment for an hour and a half talking about the Earthshot Prize. Now, interestingly enough, not a lot of people have heard of it, which was a bit of a surprise to me because this is a global impact. This isn't just a UK-centric. The first award ceremony was in London, and it was announced last night that the next award ceremony is going to be in America, in New York. So they're picking off nations one by one. And over the next 10 years, there'll be £5 million available, or five £1 million prizes every single year for the next 10 years. And it's going to massively impact SDGs with the aim really of repairing the planet. We've done so much damage to the planet ever since man was alive, frankly. But certainly in the last few years, we've seen global warming, we've seen huge forest fires in certain parts of the world, which have been unusual. We've seen flash flooding, which has been unusual. And we've seen the ice caps melting, which again is pretty unusual. So unless we do something now, it might be too late. And so the Earthshot Prize, do you know much about it, CK?
Well, Neville, in fact, I was coming to that. What is the really background of this particular forum and these prizes? I think our viewers would like to know. And viewers, we are live. If you have any question, you can shoot right away using the chat function from whichever social media you are watching us, and we will respond.
Well, it's a good question. Where does it come from? Why Earthshot? Well, actually, we need to go back over 50 years when JF Kennedy talked about the moonshot. Remember those times, sending the Apollo missions up there, one small step for mankind, or one small step for man, one huge step for mankind. It's that arena. So rather than a moonshot, in other words, going out into space and finding out more about that, we need an Earthshot. We need to come back down to the planet. So less of this tourism that's going on, the space tourism that we see all the time. It's about time that we actually focused on the planet. And there are 5 prizes. So they split it into 5 different arenas. One is fix the climate. Well, we know that needs fixing. The other one is build a waste-free world. We know that there's so much wasted food around the world. I mean, if we look at the amount of waste in the food arena, we could actually support the world 2 or 3 times over. So we need to cut the waste out. The other one is revive our oceans, because we know our oceans are suffering. Fish stocks are reducing and coral reefs are disappearing. The next one is to protect and restore nature. And we all heard about deforestation, and that's happening all the time. The last time I saw this, the equivalent of 3 football pitches per hour were being deforested in Brazil. That's ridiculous, really, when you think these are big pictures. And the last one, the one we're going to talk about today, because the winner of this Earthshot Prize actually comes from India, and it's Clean Our Air. And this group actually are probably, for me, one of the most unique ones out there, because what they've done is that they've taken a technology that we've known about for many years, and they've made it cheap, and more importantly, they've made it so that it can retrofit into the vehicles that are currently there. So it's portable. So, CK, 5 Earthshot Prizes, all designed to improve the planet, make this place a better place to live so that our children and our children's children actually say, oh, Granddad did a good job. Well, let's hopefully that's going to be the case.
Yes, very interesting, Neville, and thank you for narrating the whole thing in very short, in the shortest possible time. And I think it's very interesting to know, India, one of the Indian citizen has got this award, which is a substantial amount in order to improve the Mother Earth. So we would like to know more about it. Our viewers would like to know what has impressed the decision makers to give our fellow citizen this award.
Sure, we can hit the highlights. And it's a company called Takachar. Hopefully I've pronounced it properly. And just out of that, I mean, I don't know does Takachar actually mean anything in the Indian language? Has it got a specific meaning?
Well, I'm just thinking it would be a colloquial language which is not very well known. So even Indians will not know what is the meaning of Takachar. But I think I can do a research and get back to you in the next one about that.
That's good. That's good. I just thought it might have some, specific meaning because it's unusual. I mean, maybe it's 2 or 3 words that have been put together. I mean, I don't know. But it's something that will be instantly memorable if you start to think of Takachar. And what is it? So I mentioned that biomass had been around for many, many years. To my knowledge, at least 25, if not longer. And biomass is basically taking one form of waste in one arena, heating it up and making fuel from it, heating any arena. And that's where it's been mainly put, including houses, but mostly warehouses. And therefore, it's reusing something that would have been probably disposed of in a non-environmental way. And this is specifically to do with farming. I mean, any farmer in the world that's got crops, particularly wheat, barley, all of these things that leave a stem, the only way or the most effective way, the cheapest way for a farmer to get rid of that stem is to burn it. So we have a burning arena, and I'm sure you've moved around India as I've moved around the Kent countryside, and I've seen all of these farms burning around about the October time of the year after harvest. So once harvest has happened, then you've got this root effectively that's left in the ground that has no use. So we need to find a way of not burning it, because burning it is really affecting air pollution. And that's one thing we need to be away from. And I didn't really know this, but $120 billion of agricultural waste is developed every year. $120 billion, not million, $1 billion. So if you can make an inroad into that, using something that has been around for a while, using a technique that's been around for a while, then it's got to be worth doing. And this young man, along with his young partner, both engineers, have looked at a biomass solution. And the beautiful thing about their biomass solution is it's cheap, it's portable, and it can fit on any tractor, which is perfect for the farming arena, because the last thing you really want to do is for a farmer to have to invest heavily on the equivalent of a combine harvester, just to clean out their crops, because that wouldn't be cost effective. So the wonderful world, in the world of change, is cheap, as long as it works, and portable. So, was that new to you? I mean, biomass, as I'm sure you know, has been around for many, many years. But is this sort of solution new to you?
Well, for most Indians, this sort of solution will not be new, because biomass engines have been around for more than 1,000 years in India, because there are a lot of cows and there are lot of cow waste, and humans identified that you can generate methane out of it, which is a combustible gas. So in a lot of villages, there are a lot of biomass engines, and people who are in the dairy farming, etc., they essentially have the biomass engines in their farms to decompose and generate fertilizers. And this has been going on for ages. Even if you're not generating any gas, people used to dig holes and put all the garbage into a hole. But I think let's come back to the moot point of stubble burning that you mentioned. And it is a problem for India. Why? Because the wheat landscape starts from Pakistan, Punjab, and it runs all the way to the east coast of India. And this is one of the biggest wheat producing land, if you just count the entire ecosystem. And very heavily populated place as well. Almost half of the population of India and Pakistan lives in this part of the world. So what happens here is that the farmers have to prepare for the next crop, and it's all seasonal in India. So after the monsoons are over, the wheat is harvested, the stubble remained. The easiest method to add nutrient without increasing cost of taking out the stubbles. You see, in India, the labor is required to do anything. The farmers will not be able to do all the labor, so there is no mechanization because of the population. So cheap labor is available, and the labor comes, and you got to pay. The farmer got to pay for everything, for sowing, for harvesting, and also if they want to remove the stubble from the field, they had to pay. So from the farmer point of view, they have been doing this for last 5,000 years. They just burn it because there is no extra expense. But what is happening is that soon after the stubble burning season, which is around about October, November, the winter sets in. And because of this winter, the cold layer settles down on the surface, bringing the pollution which has been generated just few days back after stubble burning, creates havoc into Indian cities and bringing the breathable air index very, very poor. So I think that is where the problem is. So I think even though India or Indians know technology of biomass, they know exactly. In fact, there are small biomass available. You can go out to the retail and you can pick up the biomass engines, put it in your house. But I think the awareness is not there. I think this is a very great move for Takachar. They can popularize, they can reduce cost. But I think the problem of extra expense of removing the stubble, because I think somebody has to do hard labor to remove the stubble from the ground before the next crop can be sowed, which is the next season, I think still remains unanswered. I mean, that is my...
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's removing the stubble. But the point is now what they've got is rather than burning it and then removing the burnt embers afterwards, which has caused all the problem, you've got to remove it anyway. So if you remove it and burn it in a not just an economical way, but an environmentally friendly way, they're talking about reducing smoke emissions alone, okay, by 98%. Now that's a huge, just imagine everything you've explained there, reducing that to 2% of what it is. So now actually you can go out there and you can breathe the air. There is no smog, and the colder and damper the conditions, the more smog comes down. So, and it's all about that time of year. So, but not only that, there is, like anything else, when you put something through a process, there's also a byproduct of that process. And the beauty of the byproduct of this process is that there are two byproducts and they're both sellable. So it's an income stream for the farmer. So it's either generating a fuel or it's generating some form of fertilizer. The fertilizer can then be used on the farmer's land, so that reduces their cost. And the fuel can be used somewhere else, which additionally reduces their cost there, or you could potentially sell it. So the beauty of all of this to me was that not only was this a very cheap, well-established type solution, but these young guys had taken it to the next level. They're thinking about not just stopping one process, only, as you well know, sometimes for another process to make things worse, and the carbon footprint gets worse. But actually, the carbon footprint just keeps getting better and better and better, and cheaper for the farmer. So immediately, you've got something that the farmer can invest in because it's cheap, easy to use, and doesn't cause them much difficulty in using it. So they're really not messing around much with the process that they currently have. But the most important thing is they're making money from it. To me, that's an entrepreneur's dream, especially when you've got byproducts that come out at the end of it that you can sell as well. So that's the real benefit to me. As I say, it's no wonder they won the Earthshot Prize. We've now explained to everybody today a little snippet of what Earthshot's all about. And in essence, let's entice our readership, our listeners, to go and think of challenging for an Earthshot Prize next year or the following year. Because £1 million for the winner, not least all of the advertising you will get, because this is backed not just by eminent environmentalists around the world, but it's actually driven by Prince William, future King of England, and he's really passionate about this. He really wants this to work.
Well, Neville, thank you so much for giving this award in detail. I think it was great learning for all of us, and I'm sure there is an opportunity for entrepreneurs, especially the training entrepreneurs, who can go out there to the farmers of India and tell them the cost-benefit analysis of all this overall. So while there is a cost of removing the stubble, but then you are creating an income from another source. So I think there is a training opportunities for the farmers, which are like 140 million in India. Huge opportunity for entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, Neville, for finding time and talking about this very important subject. We will catch you in the next one.
Take care.